Picture two invoices for the exact same job. The first one, $180. The second one, 28 cents. You read that right. Cents, not dollars. For 1 million words processed. That's the price of AI in May 2026. On one side, GPT-5.5 Pro, OpenAI's latest. On the other, a Chinese open source model you can download, run on your own servers, and that, on certain benchmarks, actually beats the Americans. A price gap of 643 times for sometimes equivalent quality. And the craziest part is, most companies keep paying premium rates without always needing to. So, are premium models a scam? Not so fast. The reality is more subtle, more interesting, and far more consequential for your company, your app, or your dev career. In the next 25 minutes, we're going to break down this completely schizophrenic market. We're going to talk tokenizers, reasoning effort, agents, sovereignty, and I'm going to show you something called DeepClaude, an open source hack that single-handedly captures the entire shift happening right now. Stick around. It's dense, it's useful, and it starts now. Let's set the stage. April 2026 was a historic week for AI. In 9 days, 6 frontier models dropped. On April 16th, Anthropic released Claude Opus 4.7. On the 20th, Moonshot AI released Gemini 2.6, 1 trillion parameters. On the 23rd and 24th, OpenAI launched GPT-5.5 and 5.5 Pro. And on the 24th, DeepSeek dropped V4 Pro, 1.6 trillion parameters, open source, under MIT license, at a price that defies all competition. Add Google's Gemini 3.1 Pro released in February, and Chinese Z.ai's GLM 5.1 from early April, and you've got the 6 models we'll be discussing today. On one side, the Americans. OpenAI, Anthropic, Google. Closed models, accessible only via API, premium, integrated into massive ecosystems. On the other side, the Chinese. DeepSeek, Moonshot, Z.ai. Open weight models, meaning the model weights are published. You can download them, deploy them yourself. Not all the training code, not always the datasets, but the weights, yes. And that alone is a revolution. Why this video, now? Because for 3 years, the question was, who's the best? Today, that's no longer the right question. The right question is, who's the best fit for my task, my volume, my data constraints? Because on benchmarks, the gap between Americans and Chinese has fallen below 10%. But on price, the gap is 10 to 30 times, sometimes more. And that completely changes your product strategy. We're going to cover 5 things. 1. Why prices diverge so dramatically. 2. The hidden costs nobody shows in comparison charts. 3. Who's really good at what without the marketing. 4. DeepClaude and the art of mixing models. 5. What this changes for companies handling sensitive data. Banks, hospitals, defense. You're at the heart of this. Let's start with the concrete, the prices. The standard unit is dollars per million tokens. A token is a chunk of text, about 3/4 of a word in English, slightly more in French. You pay for what you send to the model, the input, and for what it sends back, the output. Output always costs more, because that's what the model computes in real time. Here's the grid as of May 5th, 2026. Claude Opus 4.7, $5 input, 25 output. Standard GPT 5.5, 5 and 30. And the big jump? GPT 5.5 Pro at $30 and $180. On Google's side, Gemini 3.1 Pro preview is at 2 and 12. Now look at the open source side. DeepSeek V4 Pro list price, 1.74 and 3.48. On promotion until May 31st, they dropped to 0.435 and 0.87. The little brother V4 Flash, 0.14 and 0.28. Kimi K 2.6 from Moonshot, 0.60 and 2.50. GLM 5.1, around 0.60 and 2.20. Do the math. For 1 million words generated, GPT-5.5 Pro costs you $180. DeepSeek V4 Flash costs you 28 cents. Ratio, 643. 643 times cheaper. For models that, on certain coding and reasoning benchmarks, are within a few points of each other. Okay, normal first reaction. So it's a scam. I'm migrating everything to DeepSeek tomorrow. Not so fast, because that face value price is a mirage, and that's exactly what we're going to dissect now. Let's talk hidden costs. There are 4 main ones, and each can multiply your bill without you noticing. The first one is the tokenizer. The tokenizer is the algorithm that chops your text into billable tokens. Think of it like a machine slicing a baguette. Depending on the slice size, you pay more or less for the same baguette. Except here, the providers themselves choose the slice size, and they can change it. Telling example. When Anthropic released Opus 4.7 on April 16th, the official price didn't budge. $5 input, $25 output, just like before. Except they changed the tokenizer. Result, documented by Anthropic themselves, for the same text, up to 35% more tokens. Your price per token didn't go up. Your bill did. Up to 35% more, with no announced price hike whatsoever. Brilliant pricing strategy. Brutal in terms of transparency. And there's a little-known language tax. Models trained mostly on English are less efficient with other languages. For an equivalent text in French, some models consume 10 to 30% more tokens than in English. It's even more pronounced with Chinese models when you use them in French. A point worth measuring empirically before you migrate. Second hidden cost, reasoning effort. Modern models don't answer directly anymore. They think, meaning they internally generate a chain of thought, a kind of mental scratch pad, before producing the final answer. These thinking tokens are billed at output prices, and you don't see them in the interface. On a model like GPT-5.5 Pro or Opus 4.7, you can adjust the effort level: low, medium, high, and now X high. The higher you go, the more the model thinks, the more it costs. On an independent benchmark, Opus 4.5 in max effort consumed 60% more tokens than Opus 4.1 for the same intelligence score. And Claude Code, Anthropic's agentic tool, defaults to X high. You activate Claude Code without configuring anything, and you're paying for the most expensive mode. There you go. Third, throttling and rate limits. You buy access to a model, but you don't get unlimited throughput. OpenAI works in tiers based on what you've already spent. GPT 5.5 Pro at Tier 1, 30,000 tokens per minute. Insufficient for a production agent. DeepSeek doesn't publish public tiers, but its capacity depends on GPU availability, which creates unpredictable latency. A cheaper but slower model can cost more in engineering time than a pricier but reliable one. Fourth, and this one's the reverse lever: caching and batch APIs. OpenAI, Anthropic, and DeepSeek all offer massive discounts when you use cache, a repeated prompt, or batch. You accept a few minutes of delay. DeepSeek dropped its cache hit price to 1/10 of input cost. Anthropic charges up to 90% less on cached tokens. For an agent with a long system prompt that repeats every turn, That can divide your real bill by 5 to 10. Bottom line, forget the price per token. The metric that matters is the cost per successfully completed task. How much does it really cost you to fix that bug, write that email, generate that report? And there, the equation gets a lot more complex. A premium model that understands your prompt and the first try, structures its answer well, and doesn't need 3 iterations can end up cheaper than a low-cost but verbose and imprecise model. Now let's talk performance. Who's actually good at what? First, a fact that should calm fanboys on both sides. The American NIST, through its Casey body, published an independent evaluation of DeepSeek v4 Pro in May 2026. Verdict? About 8 months behind the American frontier. Less than the 12 months from a year ago. More than the 0 months some claim. Nuanced, and probably the best compass we have. Now model by model. GPT-5.5 and 5.5 Pro. All-around champion. #1 on Artificial Analysis's Aggregated Intelligence Index. Leader on Terminal Bench 2.0. Complex shell execution tasks at 82.7%. Excellent on agentic workloads, computer use, professional writing. Weak point? The price. The Pro version at 30/180 is only justified for cases where one correct answer is worth more than all the compute in the world. Medical, legal, critical finance. For 95% of projects, it's the wrong call. Claude Opus 4.7. Software engineering champion. 87.6% on SWE bench verified per Anthropic. 64.3% on SWE Bench Pro. Clear leadership on this benchmark testing real bug resolution. 78% on OS World, which measures computer control. High resolution vision. Absolute strength on long agentic workflows. Weakness. The more verbose tokenizer. And a real price increase of 0 to 35% despite the stable sticker price. Gemini 3.1 Pro. Scientific reasoning champion. 77.1% on ARC-AGI-2, more than double the previous version. The largest single-generation jump ever observed on this benchmark. 94.3% on GPQA Diamond. Excellent multimodal, integrated across the entire Google ecosystem. Still in preview as of May 2026, which calls for caution. But the intelligence to price ratio is the best in the proprietary camp. $2 input, 12 output. DeepSeek v4 Pro. Price performance champion for code. 80.6% on SWE bench verified. 93.5 on live code bench. Codeforce's ELO 3206, ahead of GPT 5.4, at a price that makes Americans nervous. Weakness? Less reliable on multi-turn agentic, no native vision, and a documented 8-month gap behind the frontier per NIST. Kimi K 2.6, the Agent Swarm Specialist. 1 trillion parameters in a MoE architecture, mixture of experts, which means only 32 billion activate per token, so inference stays affordable. Claimed capability of 300 coordinated subagents over 4,000 steps. Excellent on tool use and autonomous research benchmarks. Weakness? Verbose. Not the best on short tasks, and some users find it still sits below Sonnet 4 on fine-grained capabilities. GLM 5.1, the long session specialist. 58.4% on SWE Bench Pro, #1 in the world at launch, ahead of GPT 5.4 and Opus 4.6, designed for 8-hour autonomous sessions. And not insignificant geopolitically, trained 100% on Huawei Ascend chips, without a single NVIDIA chip. The first demonstration that you can train a frontier-class model without American hardware. Weakness: no vision, slow generation speed, and knowledge benchmarks still behind the leaders. The pattern that emerges: proprietary models are more versatile. They hold up across all benchmarks without major gaps. Open source models are more specialized. Each excels in one domain but lags elsewhere. No open source model dominates everything. Which means in 2026, the winning strategy probably isn't one model for everything. It's the right model for the right task. And that takes us straight to the next block. Now, the moment I've been teasing since the beginning: DeepClaude. The story starts on January 26, 2025. An Indian developer, Mufid VH, co-founder of a Y Combinator startup called Asterisk, publishes a project on GitHub written in Rust. The idea is simple and brilliant. At the time, DeepSeek had just released R1, an open source model that exposes its chain of thought publicly. You actually see the model reasoning. But R1 is mediocre at generating clean code. Meanwhile, Claude 3.5 Sonnet is excellent at writing code, but its chain of thought isn't exposed. Mufid's idea? Combine the two. R1 does the reasoning, Claude consumes that reasoning, and writes the final answer. One API call, two brains collaborating. The project gains 5,400 GitHub stars in a few weeks. The original project is now dormant, but the idea spread everywhere. Aider, the coding tool, formalized it as architect/editor mode. Klein has its plan/act mode. RuCode, KiloCode, RA.aid all do the same thing. One model thinks, another executes. And Anthropic themselves built it into Claude Code, with a sub-agent system where Opus can delegate subtasks to Haiku, which is 5 to 10 times cheaper. Then, in April to May 2026, a new version of the concept resurfaces under the same name. Another developer, going by the handle Ataran, publishes a version that flips the logic. Instead of combining two models in one response, he runs Claude Code, the harness, the tool, with DeepSeek v4 Pro as the back-end brain. How? 5 environment variables. You redirect Anthropic's API base URL to DeepSeek's compatible endpoint, change the auth key and model name, and that's it. Claude Code keeps working exactly the same. Same commands, same sub-agents, same experience. But behind the scenes, DeepSeek is the one answering. Claimed savings? 10 to 17 times cheaper. The project hits the top 5 on Hacker News within days. Why does it matter? Because it demonstrates something fundamental. Anthropic's value isn't just in the model anymore. It's in the agentic ecosystem. And that ecosystem is technically decouplable from the underlying model. If you keep the Claude Code experience but swap the brain, you keep 90% of the productivity at 10% of the price. Of course, there are limits. Quality drops. Users say it's closer to Sonnet than Opus. For critical tasks, that's not enough. DeepSeek's API doesn't offer training opt-out on your data, a deal breaker for confidential projects. And the project sits in a gray zone with respect to Anthropic's terms of service. If tomorrow Anthropic decides to block this practice, it's over. But the symbol is powerful, and it's spreading. In 2026, the real question for a dev isn't, which model do I pick anymore? It's, what orchestrator am I building? You put Opus on strategic planning, DeepSeek on bulk coding, Haiku on formatting, Gemini on multimodal, each in its place. That's the operational future of AI. Now let's talk about something nobody addresses head-on. What happens for companies that can't send their data to OpenAI or Anthropic? Banks, hospitals, law firms, defense contractors, sensitive government agencies. For them, the open versus closed debate isn't ideological. It's legal and strategic. GDPR in Europe, HIPAA in the US, MiFID II for finance, NIS2 for critical infrastructure. The global average cost of a data breach in 2025, according to the latest IBM report, $4.44 million. That's more than many annual AI budgets. For these companies, there are three options. 1. Use proprietary models through clouds offering guarantees, like AWS Bedrock for Claude, Azure OpenAI, Google Vertex AI. These platforms offer zero data retention, certifications, data residency, but you stay dependent on the vendor, and even with these guarantees, some European regulators raise an eyebrow. 2. Self-host an open weight model. DeepSeek v4, GLM 5.1, MIT licensed, you download them, deploy them on your own infrastructure, and nobody, not even DeepSeek, sees your data. 3. Go through a private inference provider, like Together AI, Fireworks, Deep Infra, who host these open source models for you with contractual guarantees. The economic break-even sits around 50 million tokens per day. Below that, the standard API stays cheaper. Above it, self-hosting pays off in 6 to 12 months. And some companies report payback periods of less than 6 months for massive workloads. And then there's the geopolitical dimension. GLM 5.1 was trained 100% on Huawei Ascend. It's the first time a frontier-class model has been trained without a single NVIDIA chip. For a European, African, or South American state that doesn't want to depend on either the American stack or the Chinese stack, that starts opening up options. On the inference side, companies like Cerebras and Grok use custom non-NVIDIA silicon to serve open-source models at absurd speeds. Cerebras claims around 2,100 tokens per second on Llama 3.370 billion. That's 70 times faster than Amazon Bedrock, per their own measurements. The NVIDIA moat erodes faster on inference than on training. And for companies looking to take back control, that's excellent news. Let's recap in 3 ideas. 1. The face value price is a lie. The real cost is the cost per successfully completed task, which depends on tokenizer, reasoning effort, number of iterations, throttling, cache. Before comparing two models, measure on your actual workload, not on a synthetic benchmark. 2. American proprietary models keep a real edge on long-horizon, agentic, computer use, high-resolution vision, and the enterprise ecosystem. Chinese open-source models have caught up on raw capability, and they dominate price performance for code, scientific reasoning, and long autonomous sessions. Neither side wins on everything. 3. The real revolution of 2026 isn't a model. It's multi-model orchestration. DeepClaude is a symbol. Proprietary agent, open source brain, 10 to 17 times the savings. The future is hybrid stacks. You keep premium for the top of the spectrum. Investor demos, critical tasks, cases where an error is expensive. You route the bulk to open source. And for sensitive data, you self-host. Full stop. Personal take, after digging into this? No, premium models aren't a scam. They earn their price in their zones of strength. But yes, the majority of users paying for Opus or GPT-5.5 Pro for 100% of their tasks are overpaying, probably by 5 to 20 times. The right move isn't to migrate brutally, it's to hybridize intelligently. Measure, test, route. The cost of learning this discipline pays back in a few weeks for any team spending more than $500 a month on APIs. Tell me in the comments, for your most sensitive data, would you trust a proprietary cloud with contractual guarantees? Or would you self-host an open source model like DeepSeek v4 or GLM 5.1? That's exactly the debate keeping CTOs up at night right now, and I read every reply. It's what feeds our next videos. Hit like if this breakdown was useful. Subscribe if you want me to keep digging into these topics in depth. Now, one important point. Picking the right model is one thing. Operating it in production is another story. Every dev, every startup, every CTO building on AI eventually hits the same wall. juggling APIs, managing multiple providers, routing between Opus for planning and DeepSeek for execution, watching costs, ensuring data residency, rolling back when a model degrades. That's exactly why we're building GammaCloud, an AI inference platform that bundles multi-model routing, proprietary and open weight, fine-tuning, deployment, real-time cost observability, and instant rollback. If you want to stop hand-rolling stacks, the waitlist is open. Link in the description. Click, sign up, see you on the other side.